everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here. I am very excited to share finally something that I've been holding in every time I'm in front of a camera. We're going to do open streets, and so we get to give some of the details today. A lot of work has gone into this, and I'm so grateful and honored to be with this incredible coalition, leaders from within City Hall representing various departments that have been involved, leaders from community representing street safety and active transportation, representing placemaking and arts and democracy and small business. And so we'll hear from just a few folks, but know that there's an incredible wealth of expertise, advocacy, and community fight here standing with us, and we're going to make sure that we have a safe, active, healthy summer that really brings people together and shows just what happens when we make the most use of our public space for people, for business, for activity. Okay, so the run of show is going to be, I'll give some quick opening details, and then I'll pass it over to our Chief of Streets, Yasha Franklin Hodge, who will be followed by our Chief of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion, Shugun Idawu. Then we'll hear from representatives from the various small business districts involved. Annie Lay, who represents Fields Corner and the Little Saigon Cultural District, Ed Gaskin of Greater Grove Hall Main Streets, and then Warren Williams of Three Squares Main Street. And I will recognize also, of course, team members from BTD and our comms team here, but also our community engagement team, which I don't know why they're standing over there, but we could come on in. Okay. We all know how challenging the last couple years have been, and it's been heartwarming and in some ways a little bit, taken a little bit getting used to see so many of the events that we usually have every year only coming back now, sometimes for the first time in 3 years, parades and festivals and other community activities. To add to the array of options and the chance to heal our communities, to play and be together in person in a safe and supported way, we're looking to announce a new series of events, Boston Open Streets. Open Streets will activate 1 to 2 miles of street for walking, biking, shopping, and community building. And there are 4, I would say, key areas where this will be happening. One of them is Open Newberry, which is kind of its own initiative that has been off and running for some time, and we're looking to finalize all the details of that. But rest assured, even though I'm not talking about Open Newberry as much today, that will happen with expanded hours and time frames, and we'll be announcing more a little bit later. So today I'll focus on the 3 events that are for 1 day in the summer, a long stretch, and where the roadway will be closed entirely to car traffic. So for these open streets that we're discussing today, Boston will activate 1 to 2 miles, and between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on each specific day, we'll close the sections of roadway to car traffic to create and reclaim space for residents to celebrate the summer. We've seen a number of cities around the country and the world implement similarly successful initiatives that bring people together and also help keep dollars flowing in our local small businesses and neighborhoods, allow for community organizations to be present and tabling and sharing information, and make sure that people can have fun with their neighbors and or even go visit a new part of the city. This is a tremendous opportunity to come together and enjoy the live music and performances, spend time with friends and neighbors, and again, support our local businesses and restaurants. The very first Open Streets event will kick off right here on Center Street, Sunday, July 10th. The road closure will stretch from Jackson Square all the way to Center South at the monument. The second event will take place on Blue Hill Ave, Saturday, August 6th, from Dudley Street to Warren Ave. And the third will be on Dorchester Ave, Saturday, September 24th, from Freeport Street to Gallivant Boulevard. 2 full miles of open streets on that last one. And Open Newberry will be announced very soon with extended dates. So I want to thank all the community members who have been part of our 2022 Open Streets locations joining us here today, and can't wait to see how each of these blossoms into a community event that welcomes all from across our city and beyond. I also want to thank our wonderful consultants for this project, Shana Bryant Consulting, I'm so sorry, Shauna Bryant Consulting, one of our many incredible women and Black-owned businesses here in Boston who have been working incredibly hard to plan these events to build joy and community in our neighborhoods. Thank you, Shauna. If nothing else, the past 2 years have reminded us of how precious and important these opportunities are to come together safely, build joy, and create connection. As we continue to explore new ways our city can create more of these opportunities, we'll also be piloting an initiative called Copley Connect. This will study the future use of Dartmouth Street between Boylston and St. James. From Tuesday, June 7th to Friday, June 17th, the block between Copley Square Park and the Boston Public Library will be closed to cars. And there'll be programming from the library, performances, food trucks, and activities for youth and families. Okay, and so before I hand it over to our Chief of Streets, I just want to make sure we are presenting our press conferences bilingually. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. Mientras buscamos reconectarnos y fortalecer nuestras comunidades este verano, me da alegría anunciar una nueva serie de eventos aquí en nuestra ciudad. Boston Open Streets activará millas de calles para caminar, andar en bicicleta, ir de compras y crear comunidad. Entre las 9 de la mañana y las 3 de la tarde, cerraremos calles al tráfico de vehículos para crear y reclamar un espacio para que los residentes celebren el verano. Hemos visto cómo varias ciudades de todo el mundo han lanzado iniciativas similares con un éxito enorme y estamos encantados de explorar nuevas formas de utilizar nuestro espacio aquí en Boston. Esta es una tremenda oportunidad para reunirse y disfrutar de música, pasar tiempo con amigos y vecinos y apoyar a los negocios y restaurantes locales. El primer evento será aquí mismo, en Center Street, el domingo 10 de julio. El cierre de la calle se extenderá desde Jackson Square hasta el monumento en la intersección de Center y South. El segundo evento va a ser en la avenida Blue Hill, el sábado 6 de agosto, desde la calle Dudley hasta la avenida Warren. Y el tercer evento será en la avenida Dorchester, el sábado 24 de septiembre, desde la calle Freeport hasta el Boulevard Gallivan, para 2 millas completas de programación de calles abiertas. Además, me alegra anunciar que Open Newberry se ampliará este verano con fechas que se darán a conocer muy pronto. Quiero dar las gracias a los miembros de la comunidad aquí que nos acompañan hoy. Estamos emocionados de colaborar con todos ustedes para que estos eventos sean un éxito. También me gustaría dar las gracias a nuestros maravillosos consultores para este proyecto, Shauna Bryant Consulting, una de nuestras muchas increíbles empresas de mujeres y negros aquí en Boston. Han trabajado muy duro planificando estos eventos para crear alegría y comunidad en nuestros vecindarios. Los últimos años nos han recordado lo importante que son estas oportunidades para reunirnos de forma segura, construir la alegría y crear una conexión en nuestras comunidades. Mientras seguimos explorando nuevas formas en que nuestra ciudad pueda crear más de estas oportunidades, también vamos a poner en prueba una iniciativa llamada Copley Connect para estudiar el futuro uso de la calle Dartmouth entre la calle Boylston y la avenida St. James. Desde el martes 7 de junio hasta el viernes 17 de junio, la manzana entre el parque de Copley Square y la Biblioteca Pública de Boston estará cerrada a los coches. Habrá programas de la biblioteca, actuaciones, camiones de comida y actividades para jóvenes y familias. Okay, now I guess I get to hand it over to our Chief of Streets, someone who has worked incredibly hard coordinating all of our departments on this, Chief Yasha Franklin Hodge.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to all the folks here who have played such a crucial role in bringing these events together. So we're excited to announce these three Open Streets events as well as the Copley Connect program. These Open Streets programs are called Ciclovia events in many other cities, but this is a model that's been used, as the mayor said, successfully all over the world and really has created an incredible opportunity to bring communities together and help them see and understand their streets in new ways. Open streets throughout our neighborhoods is part of the mayor's vision for connected, healthy communities. Long before the advent of cars in cities, streets served multiple roles for transportation, but also as space for commerce, places for play, and spaces where people could connect with their neighbors and their communities. These events help us experience the many different ways that streets can serve our neighborhoods. They create space for walking, rolling, cycling, and coming together with people who you may see every day or may not see very often. And they help us imagine different futures. A future where streets serve their essential transportation functions, but also bring more kinds of connectivity than just moving cars from A to B. We're working closely as we plan these events with our public safety agencies, our traffic engineers, and the MBTA to ensure that residents can safely circulate during the times that streets are closed to cars from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on these dates. And we look forward to continuing to scale up our Open Streets programs to create celebrations across our community for all to enjoy. So thank you very much.
Well, good morning, everyone. So my name is Shagun Idowu. I have the privilege of serving as the Chief of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion. I'm going to do something that none of us is used to and be brief. And so I just want to, actually, I'm going to ask Shauna to come join me here real quick, because this is the part that I want to talk about. I first want to thank Chief Yasha Franklin Hodge and his incredible team who've been working with us, or who we've had the privilege of working with to help see this through and make this happen. Want to thank also Chief Cara Elliott Ortega, who's not able to join us, but the Arts and Culture team has also played a key role in helping to make these number of events success. But the reason that this project is able to happen is because partly, because of this black woman who's standing next to me right now, and her incredible team. I saw Ayana earlier, where am I? And Doc and Dominga, who are here, who all have such an incredible history in this city alone, putting on. Forget just the events, but all that they've contributed to the residents here in the city of Boston. And so what I am most proud of is this investment in this business and in all the other businesses that will benefit from these series of events, not just this year, but in many future years to come. So I'm putting that on Yasha's plate already. But, the reason why something like this is important, 2 weeks ago we were talking about City Fresh Foods and our $17 million contract going to that company, and today talking about working with Shauna Bryan Consultant and all the subcontractors that her team will be working with. The reason why this is important is because this is not just an investment in these businesses. This is an investment in people. The folks who are working on these teams, the companies that they'll be working with, and it just flows ever forward, not down, but across these communities because of who they interact with and where they come from. We're talking about someone who bleeds Roxbury and who has Boston all in her heart and soul. And so this is an incredible opportunity, again, not just to open up our streets, but to open up the coffers of the city and to ensure that we are investing not in companies, but in people who are going to ensure the prosperity of our city for generations to come. So I want to congratulate Shauna Bryan Consultant for winning a competitive process to help actualize these events and are already, I'm going to say right now, putting on the most successful event in the city of Boston for 2022, and we'll look forward to working with this company for many years to come to continue to put on those successful events. So I know I said I was going to be brief, and I've already lied to you on that. But again, I want to thank Shauna. I want to thank Mayor Wu for prioritizing equitable procurement, opening our streets, new ways of transportation, and understanding how we integrate and operate within our city. I want to thank our Main Streets directors who are here, who have literally ensured that our businesses have survived this pandemic and are in a place to thrive once we finally emerge out of this pandemic. We have done about 13 business walks, engaged 150 business owners because of these incredible public servants standing behind me, and we'll look forward to many more. But I know that all the small businesses along our main streets are going to be looking forward to this opportunity to invite more people to patronize their businesses, to again make those investments so they can continue to support so many Bostonians who work to keep these businesses alive. So thank all of you for being here to celebrate with us, and I think I will turn it back to the incredible Shauna Bryant.
So I just want to say, as a lifelong resident and community member, I'm really excited at the opportunity to be able to work with the City of Boston, Mayor Wu, the Department of Transportation, the Department of Streets, ONS, right? All these other sub-departments that are really going to help us make sure that these three events are, first of their kind in the city of Boston and beyond our wildest dreams. They'll be engaging. We will make sure that they are multi-generational, multicultural, and really a time to remember. And so I just want to, again, acknowledge my team that I could not do this without. Dominga Martin is our programming director, and so all of the amazing things that will be going on the different streets, the one that 1.2 miles to 2 miles in Dorchester will be under her. Decades of experience. We have my amazing Ayanna Mack, who is the director of marketing, so all of the visuals and collateral and so forth that are put together. This is being led by the amazing Ayanna. And then we have our other team members that are not here, but I do want to acknowledge them. Carlene Porcina, who is our outreach director, to make sure that not only businesses, but also residents and so forth are aware of the event, know what's happening, and making sure that we get enough people out here with the least amount of convenience as possible. And then we have Aisha James, who is also working on the teams with logistics and decor. So all of the wow factor, which I'm really excited about to be able to see that's going to happen on these routes, we definitely owe that to her big wow dreams. And so just really excited again, as Chief Idawu said, bringing together this group of black women and being able to add them to the payroll of the city of Boston is something that I want to be able to continue to do. So thank you again.
Hi, I'm Annie Lay. I'm with Homestead and the Boston Little Saigon Cultural District. We are very excited to be participating in this as well. I first learned about this because we were going through the departments and trying to figure out who was planning open spaces, and Jacob's name came down as we're trying to plan our own event as well. And we are super excited for this because it's going to bring in more business to the neighborhood, more activities for the neighborhood to enjoy, the community to enjoy as well. Because, not every resident in Dorchester can come down to Newbury and enjoy the open streets and the businesses there. So we're bringing it right to the neighborhood, having more people visit the businesses so that we can also increase, honestly, just the revenue from what the pandemic has occurred. So we're hoping that bringing more events will get to people to visit our lovely neighborhood of Dorchester so that we can just increase the activities that are there. So thank you so much. And I did make that really short. I like to say that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My name is Ed Gaskin. I'm the Executive Director of Greater Grove Hall Main Streets, and I want to thank the Mayor for selecting Greater Grove Hall Main Streets and participating on the Blue Hill Avenue Open Streets. Three things. One is I want to thank the Mayor for her investment in Blue Hill Avenue. So as you know, there's a Blue Hill Avenue Transportation Action Plan, which it intends to improve the experience all along the Blue Hill Avenue corridor. So my esteemed colleague over here, you can wave to him. Thank you. We're looking for amazing things, $15 million of Blue Hill Avenue improvements. There's also the Blue Hill Avenue Action Plan out of the Department of Neighborhood Development, so distributing, I think, 30 parcels of land, helping with economic development, business growth, and entrepreneurship in the community. So I don't have anybody representing D&D, but also another investment on Blue Hill Avenue. And then we have the the investment that we've made with arts and culture. So if you don't go down Blue Hill Avenue, you'll notice the different murals down the street. You'll notice some of the painted utility boxes. So again, trying to increase the experience that you have when you're in these neighborhoods, especially for those who are going down Blue Hill Avenue. So I want to especially, I'm going to underscore especially, thank the Chief of Economic Development, Inclusion, Opportunity, and all that, and the mayor for including the $50,000 beautification in their budget. So obviously we're all hoping and praying that that gets passed. But again, we would be able to bring more public art, do more things in the community. I was so glad to hear that when we did Circle the City, that something like that was coming back to Blue Hill Avenue. And on Open Streets, our hope is that this would be an annual investment in community development where parades, festivals, and other such events could be celebrated. So if you're not familiar, the Haitian Parade, the Dominican Parade, the Cuban Parade, and the West Indian Parade all have at some time or another gone down Blue Hill Avenue. And so this provides an opportunity for cultural enrichment, enjoyment, and entrepreneurship. Think about like Nottingham Hill Road in London, so vendors and things like that. So lots of opportunities. We really appreciate the investment. So I just want to say thank you, Mayor Wu, for helping make our Main Street districts, our business districts, not just places of pleasure and enjoyment for the residents in that community, but a tourist destination, whether you're coming from across town or across the country. Thank you, Mayor.
I'm Warren Williams. I'm the Executive Director of 3 Squares Main Streets, and I am beyond excited for this opportunity. And I say that because we could talk a lot about the businesses and we could talk a lot about the residents and what's going on in each part of the city, but this is about community. This is about bridging the gap. This is about opening the door so that people can see what businesses are out there and actually patron them. All right, turning this into a pedestrian walkway for even one day, I think, shakes their hands from neighbor to neighbor to come out and actually support their businesses, get to know their businesses, get to know the business owners. I think this is important when we talk about community, because one thing that we've learned through the pandemic is that we need each other as people. We can't look at it from one side and say it's all about the businesses or it's all about the residents. No, it's about everybody. It's about bridging the gap and filling the void. Thank you, Mayor Wu, for making this possible. Thank you for all the support of all the different moving parts, because it didn't take just one department, it takes a village. And you've shown that we are that village. And this investment is huge in our community, and it only shows more and more that we can do this if we support each other. All right? This is a community that felt like it was ostracized and put to the side. But by this investment, it shows that we are inclusive. It's all a part of. When this was first talked about, we sat around the table and we asked the businesses and the residents, what would you like to see? What part would you like to play? And everybody plays a viable part, because this city is multifaceted. It has a lot of different moving parts. And we're great at what we do. And this is just another cog in the wheel to expose that. So thank you, Mayor Wu, and the team, because this is the team. This is the family. All right? We all should be hugging each other right now. It's a kumbaya moment. Okay? This is a celebration, because the kickoff is here. And that means we're celebrating JP as we celebrate the city of Boston.
I couldn't have said it any better. Questions for anyone who's standing up here? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Oh, sorry.
Today, I do have to ask, is the city uninterested in acquiring the Crane Ledge Woods property? And if so, why?
This has, so this year we hosted a slightly different budget process. Okay, sorry. Let me pause for 1 second. Are there any questions specifically on open streets? No? Okay, then I'll jump in. We ran a budget process that started with community engagement for the very first time. Usually the mayor's office creates a budget, hands it to the city council, there's hearings way at the end, and then by that time very little can change. We ran a budget process where we hosted listening sessions in partnership with the city council, and in fact one of the top concerns that came back through that process was this particular property. Cranes Ledge is an area bordering a couple different neighborhoods, Rosendale, Mattapan, where there's a privately owned parcel with a contract with a developer to turn part of that into, I think housing is the plan right now. This is a private property, and there's only so much that the city can do when it is a private property. I am grateful to the property owners who have been in contact with the city as we continue to push for some resolution and some conversation. Now I know the property owners have their full rights in using that parcel. It's also an area of the city where we don't see, surrounding that area, there American Legion Highway and a lot of asphalt and the shopping plaza. We need to preserve our trees, and so again, this is not a city-owned parcel, and so we don't have full authority over what can happen there. But there are funds proposed in this budget cycle for acquisition of open space that could then be forever protected as green space. But again, it's a complex conversation and one that is relatively far along for our new administration to be jumping into. So the question was, how did we pick the portions of streets that are closed?
Yeah, so, looking at the routes, the goal here is to create extended stretches of roadway where people can walk, they can bike. So we're really looking at places in the neighborhoods where there's long stretches of roads. We want to touch as many parts of the neighborhoods as we can. And so, but we also want this to be something that really benefits local businesses. And so we looked at the streets and the sections of those streets that had strong local business districts attached to them, and would give us that kind of sense where people can really, they can travel. If they're on a bike, they can maybe go back and forth the whole distance, or maybe walk a large portion of the site. So really just looking for those places that can deliver on that sort of local business value and provide that extended connectivity for folks.
Drivers, like I'm thinking about John Adams, like it's gonna make a lot of people angry, make way flexible,
Sure. I mean, look, this is similar to any other big public event that we might do, whether it's a road race or a parade. We do close streets on a pretty regular basis in Boston, and the key is just communicating with people. We do extensive traffic management planning around this to look at whether there's other changes that need to happen on adjacent roadways. We work with the MBTA for any bus diversions that need to happen. So really this is about communicating first and foremost, giving people a chance to plan ahead, giving people a sense of what's going to happen, where we can and need to, creating alternate routes for people. There will be on some of these routes some strategic crossing points where we need to allow vehicles to cross the route, and so the traffic management team is working closely with the event organizers to plan that out and minimize any kind of disruption.
I'll add a note on this, which is, there have been examples from quite a while ago of Circle the City where community coalitions have come together to do this in various parts, but it's been a while since Boston has done anything like this for an extended period of time. And so we know I want to talk a little bit about why we're standing here too. This is really the reason why we're doing it. We want to make sure that we're communicating clearly the ways in which this is something that we're trying that Boston's not used to doing. Every possible detail and way in which we can anticipate hiccups or plan ahead or try to provide the traffic plans and work very closely with all the agencies that the MBTA and others who are used to using these roads. We're trying to do all of that, and it's been months and months and months of planning. But this is something new and different that we hope to expand in the future. But we're starting with 3 key areas of the city, one a month to take it at a reasonable pace, and on a weekend so that there's a little bit lighter traffic in terms of, school is out anyway, but folks aren't thinking about, those who work more traditional working schedules could be out and about instead of commuting into work. And so I want to thank our public safety agencies as well. It took it's taken a lot of coordination for them to manage and map out all the contingency planning and how all of that, from emergency response to public safety of visitors on those streets will happen. That has all been, week by week, the conversation progresses, and we feel very good with where we are now. And at the end of the day, we're announcing this here at the Curley School because it is on the route of one of the planned events, but also our young people and their families deserve to have that sense of carefree, complete ownership of public space. I have 2 kids. They're very active. As much as I tell them to stand one place, I turn around and they're gone the next second. And being near traffic is incredibly stressful as a parent and as a family. You don't even sometimes realize how much your body's tensed up just watching and waiting and making sure you have everyone's hands. In the instances where we've been able to go to Open Newberry or Hyde Park for their 150th neighborhood anniversary, shut down a whole length of street in Hyde Park, it is so freeing that where the kids can just scooter down or ride their bikes or run around, and you don't have to worry about a thing except for taking in all the community that's there, the fun, the music, the offerings that the small businesses have. So we want to make sure that everyone has the most exciting, healthy, supportive summer possible. We all need it after what we've gone through, and these 3 starting points will be an important way for us to map out what works and what doesn't work as we move ahead and plan for more in the future. Anyone want to add anything who didn't say anything yet? Jacob, do you want to add anything? Or our cycling community, small businesses?
You're good.
The Martins? You're good? Okay, all right, I think we're good. Thank you, everyone. Oh, yes, sorry, Karen.
Can I ask you about the gas situation down the financial district?
Yeah, I'll come do this separately so no one has to stay frozen up here. All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, one more thing.